Warren, and I'm the County Extension Coordinator with the University of Georgia Cobb County Cooperative Extension. And we're here today to talk about a couple of things, one being the Master Gardener program with the University of Georgia and our community gardens. I have with me Amy Whitney, who is a program assistant with our horticulture department, and she's been with us for a few years now. And I also have Renee Lemon, who is with us, and she is also a program assistant with the horticulture department, but she is also the Master Gardener coordinator. So I'd like to welcome y'all, and thank you so much for joining me here today. And I'm going to start off with you, Renee. Could you tell us a little bit first about what Master Gardeners are, and then talk about what they do and how you become a Master Gardener?
Sure. They do a lot. If you call yourself a certified Master Gardener, you have been accepted into the program. You've gone through the application process. You've gone through the extensive training, the research-based education that UGA gives you, and you've gone through your intern year. And in that intern year, you agree to volunteer 50 hours your first year. And then after that year's over, you are certified. Oh. And at that point, you agree to volunteer at least 25 hours a year. The average for our Master Gardeners in Cobb County, they average about 100 hours a year.
Wow.
Volunteer.
So tell me a little bit about the 50 hours. You said the first year they come in and they volunteer 50 hours, and then after that they do 25 hours a year. So tell me a little bit about what the 50 hours consists of.
The 50 hours, 30 of those hours are spent on what we call the MG desk. It's the Master Gardener desk. And that's where people in the community call with questions about their landscape, problems with their trees or grass or weeds. And I consider it continuing education for the interns.
Because you're getting education from the University of Georgia to begin with.
Exactly. We have a huge database on our publications website where we can get publications from information from UGA. But as the interns sit at MG Desk and answer phone calls that come in from the public, every time they're asked a question, and they may not know the answer at that moment, but they research it and they call our customers back within 10 or 15 minutes, they've learned something new. So that intern year, I tell them your 30 hours on the phone is your continuing education, because every time you find the answer to a question, you have that knowledge now.
Right.
So, and then 20 hours, the other 20 hours we ask them to spend at different projects, Master Gardener projects, and try to find the project that best suits them.
And these are projects throughout Cobb County.
Yes.
Let me ask you a little bit about the training that they go through. I know it's the University of Georgia training. I think it's pretty intense. I've never been to the classes myself. It's something I would love to do, but I'll have to wait until I retire. But could you tell me a little bit about the intensity of the classes, maybe some of the topics, who comes in and teaches the classes, and where they're located?
It's very intense. It's college level classes. We have, we just went through a class in June, and that was interesting because we wanted to bring in Cobb County school teachers and train them this summer. So their classes were Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 3.
Wow.
So they went through the entire training in 30 days.
And it was literally like taking college courses with the schedule.
Yes. We're set to run another group of interns through in January 2015, but that will be every Wednesday, January, February, and March of 2015, and the application is already online.
Oh, great.
So it's about a 15-page application because it has all the reference sheets and everything right there for you to print off. Okay. But that will be just Wednesdays from 9:30 to 3:30. The location will be at DeKalb County.
Okay, and it's the same. It's the same course, except for it's just spread out a little bit longer. They're still getting the same exact education. Oh, great!
Yep.
Great.
Different. There's a lot of the professors from UGA come and teach the classes, entomology and horticultural science, and lots of things about the health of your soil, the pH, and the nutrients in your soil, and we go pretty in depth on some things.
Great. And I know there's an exam at the end that they have to pass, and I believe Cobb County has a pretty good record of some pretty high scores on that exam.
There's
so.
a midterm and there's a final exam. And they're really nervous for the when it's time for the midterm, but by the time the final exam rolls around, they're good. Yeah, our average score is, I think, 94.
Awesome. That's great.
So.
Tell me a little bit, if you don't mind, about some of the projects that are going on in Cobb County. And also, you mentioned you brought in some of the school teachers in the county. Tell me a little bit about the school projects as well, please.
We have 23 Cobb County schools that have teachers that have gone through the Master Gardener training, and they're certified Master Gardeners. But what they do is they use the knowledge that they've learned and they integrate it into their curriculum for teaching. Most of the schools have some type of a garden outside. They talk about composting, vegetable gardening, pollinator gardening, different things like that. My goal is to go visit all 23 schools. I think I've hit 7 so far.
That's quite a task.
It is, but it's so much fun. One of the schools I went to, when I got there, the Master Gardener teachers were busy setting up a salad bar for the garden club, and they meet after school. And so the children got in line, and they all made themselves a salad.
And this was salad, was this lettuce from the garden?
It wasn't from the garden because it wasn't the right time of year. But they were preparing to plant.
Okay.
So they had lettuce and tomatoes and peppers and different things. They had some basil and things like that.
They were learning all the different things.
And they made their own salad.
how
And then
awesome.
they watched a PowerPoint about vegetable gardening while they ate their salad. Good way to get kids to eat veggies is have them grow their own.
Absolutely is.
And so then we all went outside and we looked around the gardens and decided where they wanted to plant radishes and carrots and lettuce and things like that. So
that sounds really great.
Yeah.
And what really sounds good about it is, just like our 4-H program that goes in and teaches the agri-science curriculum that's required by the school, you all also fall within the curriculum that is required by the school. So it is completely applicable to what is required for the teachers to teach there, and that makes it even better.
The teacher said to the kids at one point, she said, we're going to plant seeds in this area, and we have 40 seeds, and we can do 5 rows. How many seeds can we put on each row? And so they were having to do math as, you know, as we were talking about planting seeds.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the projects that are actually out in the community.
We have 17 projects, and in 2013, last year, the Cobb County Master Gardeners volunteered over 22,000 hours.
That's unbelievable.
Towards our community and our projects. We have several projects out at Green Meadows Preserve. We have the community garden. We have an organic orchard that's in the experimental stage to see how well it will do with no chemicals. We have a period garden, which is plants that were planted when the original house there was built. We have a Cherokee garden, which is plants that the Cherokee Indians used.
Oh.
We have a bluebird trail out there.
I've been on the Bluebird Trail. It's
Isn't it
beautiful.
wonderful?
Yes, it is.
So there's bees, there's pollinator garden, and I don't know, 55, I think, raised beds inside the community garden area. That's one area where we are. At Cobb Hospital, we have horticulture therapy gardens, and they're raised beds that are the height for wheelchairs to be able to get to, and everything's paved. So wheelchairs can go.
They can move around
people that have
easily.
had maybe a stroke or a hip replacement or a knee replacement. Becky Blades, who has been a Cobb County Master Gardener for 35 years, she's in charge of that project. And once a week, she goes out there and they tend to the gardens, but people that have had a stroke and need to reconnect with their senses, we give them rosemary and basil.
Oh, what a great way
And
to use
if we
that
have
as therapy.
watermelons growing, we'll ask them what color is it. And if we cut it, what color's on the inside.
Right.
And so we really use it to educate and help spark, you know, some things. So that's one project. We have 3 schools that we work at that the Master Gardeners go in and work at regularly. We have 3 community gardens that we go work at regularly. And then there are McFarlane Park in East Cobb. We're a very big presence at Chattahoochee Nature Center. The Center for Children and Young Adults has raised beds. And
So you all are just
we're
all
everywhere.
over the place. That's fantastic. I have to say, I know several of the Master Gardeners personally, and they are the most fantastic group that you will ever meet.
They are.
They not only know how to garden, but they also know how to cook.
Yes.
And they have a wonderful cookbook. If anybody's interested, you can contact our office and get a copy of the cookbook for a small price. And I have to say, both you all have gone through the Master Gardener program,
Yep.
and that's how we kind of found our valued employees here. Is we picked them out of the Master Gardener program. They just it's just a fantastic program. So just to wrap it up, if you don't mind telling me, if you have any information on how they can find out a little more about it. I know you mentioned that the application is on the website, but we can also mail them an application if they don't have access to the internet. But give us a little information about what to do, the website that you can contact.
Okay.
And,
we have 3 monthly events that the public is invited to, and they're free. It's Lunch and Learn, which is at the Water Lab from 12 to 1 on the second Friday, and that's on these websites I'll give you.
Okay.
We also have a Gardener's Night Out that's on the website, and that's at Cobb County Libraries. And Master Gardeners teach an hour-long class on whatever topic
okay.
is. And the new thing is we have a book club called Time to Read, and we meet the hour before Lunch and Learn at the same place. So people are coming to the book club and then staying and enjoying the Lunch and Learn. You bring your own lunch, and then you get to learn for an hour while you eat.
That sounds great. That's just kind of an extracurricular type thing, right?
It's just, extension, we're all about extending our knowledge. So
And the
the Master
books relate
Gardeners do the
to-
same. They're all about gardening and the outdoors. And
Great.
we're reading one now about the Appalachian Trail. But about becoming a Master Gardener, there's a few things. It's a process. And the first thing I recommend people to do is take a hard look at your life and where you are in your life and if you're ready. I did not go through the program until my youngest child was in middle school. If you still have small children, it may be hard. If you still work full-time, it's going to be really hard because you have to take the classes are every Wednesday for 3 months, all day.
Right.
But then the tricky thing is after you become a Master Gardener, you're sort of hooked. And you just want to do nothing but garden and hang out with your Master Gardener
Play in the
friends.
dirt.
Yeah, so you need to make sure it's the right time. Go through the application process. The application can be found on 2 websites, either cobbextension.com
Okay.
or cobbmastergardeners.com.
Okay.
And it'll be a PDF to the 2015 application. It will look like this.
Okay.
And you can fill it out, and the deadline for that is October 1st. And then we go through a selection process, an interview process, because the seats are limited. So we can't pick, we may have 60 people apply.
Right.
And we may only have 15 seats
Right.
that
Which is
year.
typically, I believe, what happens.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you so much for talking about the Master Gardener program with me. The websites will be listed on the program after we're done. And for now, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back in a few minutes, and Amy and I are going to talk about community gardens. Thank you.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Thank you. We're back, and we're going to continue our discussion about the Cooperative Extension Office, and I have Amy and Renee here with me, and both of them are our horticulture program assistants in our department. And I'm going to talk to Amy about community gardens. There are several community gardens in Cobb County, and we also have a community garden council, Cobb County Community Garden Council, which Amy is involved in. So I'm going to ask her to talk about all that. If you could kind of explain, first off, what is a community garden?
Well, a community garden is exactly what it sounds like. It's people working together in gardens as a community. So they're working together to garden, and they do that kind of in a variety of ways. You know, not every community garden is the same, but typically they are individual plots that people sign up to take responsibility for, and they manage themselves, and then they harvest the food and take it home for themselves. There are gardens that have another focus, or they have a goal of feeding the hungry, and they might also have everybody working together in one large shared space. And then they either, you know, share the food, you know, in some pre-planned way, you know, among themselves, but they might also donate the food. And the garden pictured right behind us is a donation garden.
Oh,
It's a Plant a Row for the Hungry garden. And so in that one, all those gardeners work together, and then they donate the food to a food pantry.
Oh, that sounds great.
And so there are a lot of reasons that people will garden together.
That sounds great. So what kind of people? I mean,
So, yeah.
what would
Yeah.
attract someone, or what type of person would this attract? Because it sounds very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
But the concept of having a big garden with a plot in it, and you have to drive to it, and there's an effort there. I mean, you have to be committed to go to that garden, take care of it, harvest your crop, kind of know what to do with it. And I mean, do you rent the spaces? Are they free, or how does that work?
In many gardens, they rent the space.
Okay.
You sign up because that paying for the space not only helps pay for some of the water costs and possibly for soil amendments or other things that the garden might provide, but it also reinforces the idea that you know, people have taken on responsibility for the plot and they don't want to waste their money, so they will, you know,
Right.
make an effort even if they don't have other motivations. But most people want to grow fresh food, or they want to grow fresh herbs or fresh flowers. And they're there because for some reason or another they can't in their space at home. And so they may, like many of us in Cobb County, be in houses that are surrounded by 100-foot tall trees. And that kind of shade is not really conducive to good productivity for a vegetable garden.
Right.
You need sunlight. Vegetables need a lot of sunlight, and when we have 100-foot tall trees, there is no sunlight in the front yard. And so those people who want to grow some of their own fresh produce, their herbs and their flowers, are a very good fit for a community garden, because that's a place where you can go and there's a sunny space all set up, and there's a spot that's just the right size for one person or a family. To use and manage without being too much work, but it's fun. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Other people maybe live in an apartment, and so they might have a few pots on their balcony, but they want a little more. Or they might live in a rental place, and so they don't feel like they have, you know,
The freedom to do that.
Yes, the freedom to do that. You don't want to dig up a property that could, you know, be a problem.
And I know some homeowners associations don't really,
Yeah,
you know, you're limited in what you can do in
Yes.
some neighborhoods with homeowners associations. I'm very familiar with the Green Meadows Preserve because I've been out there several times. And you said community. Community is the big part of that. And I have to say, out at Green Meadows Preserve, it is truly a community of homeowners, of you know, citizens in Cobb County. And there's such an enjoyment. You know, they do cookouts, they do picnics and different things like that, and it's just it's truly a community.
Right, and that's another reason why people will join a community garden, is because there is a group of people with a common interest, and you know, you're going to have friends right away.
And you're going to learn from each other.
Yeah, and you're going to learn from each other. And yeah, so another reason why people might join is because they're beginners.
Right.
And when you join a community garden, you're surrounded by other people who are also working on gardening. And so you have, you know, instant help. It's right there all the time.
Right.
When you go out to work, there's always somebody else out there, and you get help and advice, or you can see what other people are doing. You really learn a lot from kind of poking your nose into other people's gardens. And if you're in a place where there are 55 different little garden beds, you know, you can learn a lot.
A huge variety,
Yeah,
you sure
really
could.
fast.
You sure could.
Yeah.
And your gardens kind of affect each other too, so
Yes.
it's good to do that communication.
Yeah, communication is important.
Well,
Yeah.
that sounds great. Tell me, if you don't mind, a little bit about how Cooperative Extension plays into community gardens, what we have to offer out of our horticulture department, and then I'm going to mention a little bit about our family and consumer science area of it, and then about the Community Garden Council.
Okay. Cooperative Extension has a mission of outreach. We take information from university and we help it kind of move it toward the community and out into the community where people can actually use the information. And so what we have to offer is the research-based horticulture information about growing gardens, about things that can go wrong, how to avoid things going wrong, how to make things go really well. And so when we are asked for that kind of help, you know, we can very easily provide that. And we also, in Family and Consumer Sciences, also can extend information about food safety, and that's a very important aspect.
Right, and just speaking on the family and consumer science side, because that's kind of what I do, you know, we can offer canning classes, we can offer healthy cooking. We also talk about safe food storage, safe handling, transporting from the garden to the table, that type of thing. So we've actually partnered in doing some programming. One such program is Garden to Table, where we have an hour teaching about prepping your yard and finding your spot and growing your produce and then harvesting it. And then we come in and teach an hour of canning and preserving and safe food handling once the food is out of the garden. So it hits lots of areas. It's just
Yes.
it's a great thing.
Yeah, and so Extension also offers publications that are written by Extension specialists, so that if someone is looking for particular information, they can get that from either our office or from the website online. There's a publication search page. You just type in the words you want. If you want to know about growing vegetables at home, you type that into their little search box on their publications page, and you can pull up all their publications about growing vegetables at home. And those are a huge help, and you know that they're full of information that's going to work. And it's the up-to-date information that's going to help for our area, because you know, Georgia is in the South, and
There's some challenges
there's
there,
some
isn't there?
challenges there. Yeah, we have diseases and pests that are not necessarily a problem in other parts of the country. And so getting local information, regional information is super important.
Yes, it is.
So,
And going into the website and typing it in is a very easy way of doing it, just typing in that keyword of what you're looking for. But if you don't have access to the internet, or you're having issues or problems with getting that information from the website, they can also call the office. We have
yeah.
real live people
Yeah, real live
that
people.
answer the phones and will talk to you about your problem or whatever it is that you need to know. And so that's another resource that we have. They can also bring things into the office. They can bring in sick
Examples,
plants
yeah.
or any kind of, you know,
and they
what
do.
is this?
Yes, and people do.
Well, the interesting
Yeah,
things do come
yeah,
in. So,
yeah,
so that is
and it's a
available.
miracle I don't take more diseases home to my own garden, because people bring home plants I don't want to touch.
Yeah, and snakes.
Yeah, and snakes. Yeah, we get snakes. But another thing that we offer that UGA has recently started is a community garden blog. UGA has a new community garden blog, and there's a weekly post that goes up on Thursday, I think, and those are focused toward the needs of community gardens in the state. So it's not just for Cobb County, but that's for the whole state. But that's also going to, I think, be very helpful. It's recently started up. It's only been a couple of months, but it looks really nice. And plus, I can say it's very nice because I've written one of the posts.
Well, we know it's really good then, because you're an excellent writer.
Yeah.
So the Cobb Community Garden Council is one thing I wanted to talk about, and just briefly. I know that's fairly new. Could you kind of tell us the mission of that council and your involvement with that?
Yeah, the mission, it is just started up. It's less than a year old, really, in terms of the number of meetings that it's had. But it's really a group, all the garden managers who wanted to be involved, plus some master gardeners, plus people like me who work for Extension in horticulture, have got together to help each other, help support community gardens in all the ways that we can. So for me, you know, that's the horticulture information that comes through Extension. That's one of the things that I can offer. But the garden managers get together and share information about how to make their gardens work better, because there are always, you know, managerial issues and knowing, you know, how to solve little problems. that if you already have other people who've been through the same problems, then you don't have to create a new solution on your own. You can find out from other people what they've done and what's worked for them, and kind of weigh for yourself, which one of those is going to be best for you.
Now, can someone that's not actually involved in a community garden right now or hasn't actually started one but may be interested in starting one, can they participate in this council?
Oh yeah, it's open to everybody. They can find out when the next meeting is by calling our office, but I'm pretty sure it's in October. And at the last monthly meeting, they had a speaker who was Mr. Bobby Wilson, who was currently working in Atlanta, but he's the past president of the American Community Gardening Association.
Oh, okay.
And he had a lot of interesting information that I think was very helpful for the people who are managing community gardens right now. And we've had someone come out from the Atlanta Community Food Bank to talk about his experience with community gardens. And so we're trying to get input from various places to help all of our new gardens, because in Cobb County, community gardens are fairly new, to help them be more successful and have it all run more easily.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing all that information with us, and that's also information that we will have at the end of our program. For right now, we're going to take another break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to talk about one more topic, and then we'll be done. Thank you.
For every pound you lose, that's 4 pounds of pressure off the knees. To find out more, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Hi, we're back. We have one more thing we want to talk about. We're going to do that briefly. We have a program that's coming up in September this month that we're very excited about, and it's about indoor plants, which is something I'm not real good about taking care of. I am not an indoor plant person. My husband buys me plants along the way, or he used to, and the last plant he bought for me was a cactus, and trust me, he bought it out of love, but I can't keep anything alive. But it also died. So I need to attend your class, Amy. So if you don't mind, tell us when and where it's going to be and just briefly what it is.
Well, the class is going to be September 18th in the morning at 10:30, and it will be at the Extension office in the second floor classroom. And we're going to talk about the benefits of indoor plants and a little bit about how to care for them. The stars of the show will be plants from Renee's house that she had been given to her. And they needed care when she got them, and we took them out to the parking lot, and we took them apart, unpotted all the root-bound roots, and divided them up, and they're going to be the stars of the show. So if you want to see Renee's house plants, you need to come.
That sounds great. I would bring my cactus, but it's long gone. We hope you can join us. Our office is located at 678 South Cobb Drive in Marietta, and you can call us at 770-528-4070. Thank you so much for joining us today.